everyone for joining us at the Brown Dad. I have here Mr. Malcolm Antao. He's a friend, and more importantly, he's my brother-in-law, right? So Malcolm, say hi to our viewers.
Hi guys, how are you all?
Thank you so much for making it all the way from a different land over here for this interview.
Yeah,
I don't think
we were actually like looking forward to have it, right?
Yeah.
For some time. So
you are actually going to be my first first in-person live interview. I've had like chats with our co-founder Imran on the chai tea naan bread, right?
Yeah.
This is our different aspect of things. This is the Brown Dad Chronicles, so we actually talk about different aspects about dads. Now, Malcolm, you've obviously moved here for a little bit of time just to visit us. More specifically for the interview. No, I don't think that.
You have a problem with your wife?
Yes, that would be a different story. But that being said, you started your journey all the way in Goa. So you were born in Goa, yes?
Yes, I was born in Goa, from a village of Carmona.
Oh,
That's
nice.
it's in the south
Right.
side. So yeah, I was born in Goa, and my life, education, my whole career, everything started in Goa. Till I moved to UK, and in a bit of a span, for 4 years, I was in Pune.
Mm-hmm.
So, but basically, my schooling, my graduation, everything from Goa.
Right, right. So you're born, raised in Goa, Carmona, but then Carmona is a village, you said, right?
Yeah, Carmona is a village. So, though I was born in Carmona,
Mhm.
my childhood, I was raised in Margao because schooling and all we had. My parents moved to Margao, and my schooling started in a Loyola High School.
Mm-hmm.
So schools were close by, so they had moved in a place in Margao that's in Nabiling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I did my schooling till the 8th grade in Loyola High School,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Shout out to the Loyalites, right?
yeah, shout out to the Loyalites. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And then I don't know what happened to me. Some
decided-
priests came in between, and like they said, I started. I don't know what happened exactly. And like I told my mom I want to become a priest.
You became all religious.
I don't know. Maybe the childhood behavior of wanting to know something, to learn something. Yes,
Yeah.
and then 4 years of my life, I moved to the Pilar Seminary. I was a seminarian for 4 years. So 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, I spent there. Then in the 12th, and I'm not for it. Yeah, I'm not
Not
really-
completely ready to immerse
no,
and give
no,
yourself
not
up.
completely
Right?
ready to get into that, that life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
well, we'd be having a different conversation because
Yeah,
you would be on the
maybe
brown
that's-
bag, right?
Maybe I would have not been here.
yeah, totally different conversation, different
Yeah.
times, different conversation. So you then spent 4 years at the seminary.
Yes,
Right.
it's 4 years at the seminary. That was my 9th, 10th. So we had schooling as well as the seminarian life. How they teach you how to meditate. How to get into the. Basically, they prepare you for a long journey.
Right, right.
So yeah, so 9th, 10th. Basically, it is not actually hardcore. They teach you about priesthood, but yeah, they prepare you to get into that aspect of life. Once your 12th standard is done, then the actual priesthood training
Right,
starts.
right.
So not I cannot say that
It's
I
a
was,
precursor to it.
yeah.
Right.
So it's just a starter, like a starter pack. You said so. 9th,
Right.
10th, 11th, 12th, basically more of education, and they
Just to
teach
sort
you,
of, just to
like,
get used to that
it,
lifestyle,
get into
right?
you lifestyle.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's about it. But it did not work out for me.
Yeah.
So in 12th standard, I said, it doesn't work out for me. I should,
So do you still carry those meditative practices?
Yeah, the only thing that helped me to of being there. I became a lot of independent.
Okay.
A lot of independent. Like I can survive on my own. So that journey of 4 years helped me to be independent, to be on myself, not to get dependent on anybody.
Mhm.
So they actually teach you that.
Right. Right.
So I thank my parents or whoever helped me there to get in there.
Those
The
formative years,
the
very
formatives, the
important.
priests there.
Yeah.
That's one thing. That's the major thing. I thank
Yeah.
for me going there and
Right,
learning the
right.
independent life
Right.
to survive in any situation.
Right.
That one thing, and I learned to play music there.
Right.
So that's the other
You
part.
learned a new language,
I
right?
learned a new language.
Yeah.
So that's the major part. Those 4 years he taught me.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. That's quite a journey, right?
Yeah, that was quite a journey. Quite a
Yeah,
journey.
and you get to see this totally different side of things, and you get
Yeah, you get to know different
People,
personalities.
yeah,
You have different tempers.
yeah,
So you can deal with any tempers when you
Right.
live in that culture.
right,
It's like you actually living with them. It's
Right.
like like from first to eighth when you're a child, you're just with your family and just friends.
right.
But when you're actually living with those people, the students, those colleagues, everybody who comes there to stay, you actually deal with their tempers. Like
So you actually staying on campus, is it?
yeah, we were staying. It's a seminary wherein
Right.
like we used to eat together.
Right.
We used to sleep in a dormitory and we used to play together. Like life was like how I cannot say basically it's a military life, like how
Right.
military people are trained.
Almost like a boarding school.
I cannot say boarding school.
Right.
Because a boarding school, their life is hell
Right.
because they are not treated well. We are treated as a seminarian. We our parents paid for the fees there for at least for the 4 years, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Right.
So we are treated well.
Right.
I don't know about how boarding school work, but I can
Oh,
say
I
it's a
know. My
boarding
dad's
school.
got horror stories.
Yeah. So here we are treated well. Like the guys are treated. The priests treat you well. You know,
Right.
they teach you the aspect of life, what you have to do in your future. They
Right.
train you for the future.
Right.
Basically, they train you to get into the priesthood life.
Right. Right.
Now, whether you have to become a priest or not, that's totally
Right.
depending on you.
Right.
There is no hard and fast way. You know? If you
Right.
feel like the calling is not there for you, you can
Right.
just drop out.
Right. And so this whole time that you were in there, your dad was. So you wouldn't see your family like.
No, basically, like I am the only child, who has not stayed with my family. Maybe from first to eighth, yes, I was with my family. But that time I was a kid,
Right.
so I did not know what was going on.
Right.
We have a family business. Like
Right.
we run a bar and restaurant in Margao.
Right.
So my parents, my mother used to run it a lot. My dad was a civil supplies servant, like a government servant initially. Then
Right.
due to the family has to grow, he moved from Bahrain for a
Right.
while. But I doubt Bahrain worked for me. That was the year back in like 1994. I would just be 10 years old at that time.
Right.
So 1994, when my first sister got married, he
Mhm.
came down for the wedding.
For the
Then
wedding.
he was sick. He was really
Mhm.
sick, and he could not go back. So then he thought of deciding. He thought of moving to what he does the best. That's documentation.
Mhm.
Like drafting papers, drafting affidavits. Like he was good in writing.
Mhm.
He loved pens, and I guess loving pens is that has brought back
Mhm.
that thing came to me. He used to love to write.
Mhm.
He used to draft people applications, affidavits, drafts, all those things he used to do. So he used to
All legal type of
all
stuff.
legal
right.
type of stuff.
Right.
So he had that knowledge because he had the knowledge back there when he used to work for his
As a
government.
civil,
servant.
yeah. Yeah.
So he took up a career like in that. No, I can't say he did really well in that, but he used to do it for his time pass.
Mhm.
So the family business, my mom used to run the bar and restaurant, and it is still there till date.
Yeah.
She runs it. She's there.
Shout out to your mom too, right?
Yeah, shout out to my mom too. Like she's on her own, you can say. Though now she's become old, but that she says, we tell her, stop it, mom. Like it's too late. You're too old to do it. But she said, gets me going.
But your mom is very robust.
Yeah,
that
and
energy is like, she reminds me of our Hurricane Hazel
Yeah.
in our Mississauga mirror. the one
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
last-
She's 100, I guess.
literally
Now?
like that.
Yeah.
She's got a different energy around her.
And she has that attitude of my mother. She has that attitude.
I can do.
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah.
And if I don't do it, I will be bedridden. And like me on my side, my sisters and my brother might say something. Like she
Right.
should stop, but I don't stop her. I said if you can, you do it. I will never stop you.
Yeah.
It's up to you. You feel one day if you feel that you don't like going there, then you can stop.
Yeah.
We are there always behind you to back
Yeah.
you up. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. So yeah. So
No, but that wears off on you guys too, right? That can-do attitude. I mean, it took you from, as you said, from grade 1 to grade 8, where you were at home,
yeah.
and gave you that ability to say, oh, if my parents can do that, then I can also do something, and give you a chance to explore something different, where now you were away from home.
Yeah.
So how often did you see your family during during those years?
Vacation, most probably, like whenever there was
So
school
once a year,
vacation.
twice a year?
Twice a year, maybe for Christmas or Diwali, Ganesh vacations,
Wow.
when there's a long break.
Right.
Yeah, so that's when I used to see them. They used to come to me. Initially, twice they came to pick me up. Then I used
Right.
to travel by bus because it was not too far.
Right.
I thought it was far because
Yeah.
I have never moved out from Margao. I thought it was far, but now if I look back, it's here. It's just close by.
How far was the actual distance?
It's just Margao to Padar. It will be like half an hour's
Drive.
Drive.
Right. So it's like a half a day's walk.
Probably. Yeah, people walk. People
Yeah,
do the
people do. Yeah.
pilgrimage
I
there,
know.
right? So that's okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. So, and then you said your dad moved back. He was in legal services, and
Legal services, he should do it all.
yeah. But he was doing that thing, and then a couple of years later, your sister got married. Second sister got married. Your brother got married, and then he passed away.
Then he passed away. He passed away in 2005. He was a diabetic patient. I think that took a toll on him, and he lost both his kidney functions, and he passed away with loss of kidney failure. So
Yeah.
in 2005, he passed away.
That must have been a hard time for the family, no?
Hard time actually for the family. It was a hard time because my sister wasn't there. It was like you can say I was doing my third years of LLB degree that time, and it was a hard time for me and my mother because we were both there.
So before you move ahead, for those that don't know, what is the LLB degree?
So after my 12th, that also I never wanted to do LLB. It's a legal degree wherein it's called Bachelor of Law and Legislation.
So BLL.
Actually,
But
it has to be sound BLL, but it looks more cooler LLB. So I guess it's LLB. I myself, I do not know why it's called LLB, but I took it or say BLL doesn't sound good. It's LLB, it's more cooler.
Right.
So I don't know what's the story behind it calling LLB, but yeah, it's always called LLB, and Masters is LLM.
Yeah.
So that's one style of it. But yeah. So I never wanted to do it. It never came into my mind, that there is a degree of lawyer's degree. It was my dad who pushed me.
Right.
Initially I did not like it.
Right.
Why will I do LLB? Actually, I wanted to do fast money.
Right.
I knew a lot of sailors, shippy guys. I wanted to go on the ship.
Which is quite trendy in Goa.
Yeah,
right?
which is quite trendy in Goa. People move on the ship.
Yeah.
And but my dad said, no, you have to try this. I said, okay, I'll make him happy. At least he wants me to do something, and he pushed me there. Yeah, I got to it, and he was very happy when I cleared the entrance exam. He was like most happiest person.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was happy that time, and so for the first 2 years, I did not like it. But yeah, when actual legal subjects started studying, I started liking the course. But then my dad, in the third year, he passed away.
Yeah.
So
your dad didn't get to see you graduate.
no, my dad was get to see me graduate. Like he would be top of the world.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So yeah, it was between me and my mom who was there in the hospital all time because my brother was in Kuwait. My sister also was in Kuwait, and the other sister was sailing with her husband. She married a shippy guy who was a civil engineer, I guess. So she could stay with him. So it was just me and my mom taking care of him. So yeah, so that took it was a hard time during that time. And I remember it was my semester exam, and I used to study. He was on the bed in the hospital, and I was studying besides him.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
but he must have been delighted to see that you're studying.
No, he was not in a state of to
actually.
see me studying. He was not in a state of that because he had gone to dialysis and all. He was really not in a state. So yeah, and that frankly speaking, that was the that was the only semester when I cleared all the subjects without a back. I'm like, screw it. Seriously, I did not have a single back that time. Otherwise. Not that it's not that I'm not good at studying. Like college life, how it works. You don't study much, so that was the only semester. Like I got good marks and I cleared without a back. So I was quite happy that time.
Good. So you then went on to finishing your LLB, and then you decided to work at that. So Dad passed away in between before you graduated. And now your mom's there by herself, but then you decided to start working at that point?
So actually it was my decision to start working because see, whenever you pass LLB, people try to get into legal for practice. So when you practice in that, at least now I don't know, in those days when you practice, you have to practice as a junior, and there's no stipend that is paid to you. There's nothing, there's no money. You have to actually deal on your own. Even your petrol is not paid. So actually you have to just for 2-3 years you have to slog, and for me it was becoming very difficult. Yeah. So not a slave as such, but you have to learn. Yeah. You need to learn because
I mean they're not paying you for anything.
They're not paying you for anything.
So
it is just that the experience you're taking, and I'm not saying that there's no money in when you practice. If you're a good lawyer, you have a lot of money that follows. quite later on.
Right.
But that was not in my case because I had very less support.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at least someone should be there. Malcolm, I'll support you. You go ahead.
Financially.
Yeah, finally, there's a lot of. Mother was there, but she used to run the bar and restaurant, but there was not much income that was coming in. So I had to make a decision,
Yeah.
and to get a job. So there was this company who came in for my campus interview, and I got selected. So I had to move to Pune.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got through the job interview, and in October, it was in October 2007, I moved to Pune
Mm-hmm.
for that job. It was not a legal company as such, mind you, but it used to deal into American law. It was a legal process outsourced.
Mm-hmm.
It was outsourcing legal law. So I worked there for around 4 years, and ultimately after 4 years, I was like not liking it.
And for those that don't know, actually, there's a lot of outsourcing that is done to India, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of it, like the business process. There's a lot of outsourcing done to India because the labor in India is cheap.
Yeah.
So
it's global, like
it's
literally
global.
global law
Yeah.
literally comes into India, and then you guys study those
Those
local
laws.
laws.
Those local laws. So that's
Yeah.
what happened to us in our company. I studied a lot of American law.
Yeah.
So if you ask me, like a lot of American cases, we used to distribute those cases into different aspects, like a criminal, whether it's a civil matter, and
Right.
then send back. I cannot disclose like which company.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
Like who was my client.
Yeah.
It's a big name in the US, but I cannot disclose that
Yeah.
thing. So yeah, so that was a good thing. I learned a lot about US laws. But what happened is, like, over a period of time, it started becoming monotonous.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was doing the same thing,
Plus,
same
it
thing.
was far away from home, right?
Yeah, plus
Like,
it was
Pune-
far away from home.
How far is Pune for those that don't know?
Pune is almost like if I take a bus. Those days I used to take a bus. Like it was an overnight journey. It will take me around 11 to 12 hours
Wow.
for bus journey. If a flight, then it should be 1 hour. Like
Yeah.
it falls between Mumbai to Goa. So Pune, Mumbai.
Right,
So it's in the state of Maharashtra.
right, right.
So yeah, that was my life in Pune. I had a good time, good friends there. But I needed to be back home. But the question was, what would I do going back home?
Right,
Because practicing I was too late,
right,
and I was used to the salary.
right.
So it was very difficult, I after the third year of my work in 2010, I said I need to move back.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stay in here
Mm-hmm.
because it was becoming too much for me. It was becoming monotonous. The work was becoming monotonous, and I used to, like, every morning I used to hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Getting up, and I used to wage a war with myself, getting up from the bed and shit, today I have to go back to work. No doubt, like, that work was not bad or good or something. It was good. Work was good, but I was not liking it because I was.
Plus, you're away from family
Yeah.
too, right?
I was
And
away
so-
from family too.
And then you were cooking for yourself and things like
Yeah,
that.
I was cooking for myself. But see, the seminary taught me to be independent.
Right.
I used to call my mom and I used to ask her, like, how this thing is done, how do I cook this. So she used to tell me over the phone, but I don't know, I got it from my mom or something, but I should never ask her how much to put.
Yeah.
I should never ask her the quantity. I should just ask her what ingredients.
Right.
And I used to, like,
Somehow,
I just ask her what's the process of doing it.
Yeah.
She used to tell me the process, and I used to do it. And it used to taste good.
Yeah.
Like, you can say that I am a homemade chef.
Yeah.
And not a
No, and a
restaurant
good one
chef.
of that, I can attest to it because he made me breakfast on my birthday. Yes, for the viewers.
So I had a cousin of mine working with Axis Bank,
Mm-hmm.
and so I asked her anything illegal that I come back to Goa and join. She said nothing legal. If you want to join banking,
Mm-hmm.
you can come and join banking. I can refer you, and you'll have to answer an exam.
Mm-hmm.
I said, why will someone I don't know any not the A, the C of banking. Why would someone take a lawyer, legal knowledge into banking? I said, see, if you want to see directly, give me a point blank answer. If you want to apply, you apply. Otherwise, stay there.
Yeah.
If you want legal, you'll have to go to Bombay. I said, no, I don't want to stay out of, move back into any other
Yeah.
state anymore. It's anything Goa. So she said, okay, I'll just send you my CV. So she forwarded my CV, and I got a call for answering the exam. I said, can I answer it Pune? Because it was Pune, Maharashtra, Goa, it was one circle.
Mm-hmm.
So they said you can answer the exam in Pune. I said, okay, fine, I'll go and answer. What's the harm? So I just went and answered. I just answered. I don't know what I answered, but I answered.
Yeah.
And I said, chuck it, like, who will take me in banking. And luckily, I got a call.
Yeah.
Luckily, I got a call. They said you were selected. You will have to join. But the thing was that they gave me a posting in Pune.
Oh.
I said, no ways, I'm not joining Pune. If you're give me a posting in Goa.
Yeah.
Because that's the only reason I want to move back to Goa.
Yeah.
So they said that you'll have to wait for it. I said, no problem, I'll wait. So in the next 2 months, they called me and there's an opening in Goa. So are you ready to join?
Mm-hmm.
I said, no problem. I went back to so that led me to into banking.
Mm-hmm.
So initially it was tough time running into banking. Mind you, banking is not like before, like hard, like people outside think, this guy is a banker, he must be earning a lot, and easy life. But I'll tell you, banking in India now is like crazy. It's more of sales, less of banking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
And banking's not easy. I can attest to that
because you yourself are a banker.
I've been in the bank for now 16 plus years.
Yeah.
So I know exactly. And every day is a new day. There's always moving parts. So I know some of the moving parts don't even make sense from inside. So
yeah, actually true, because sometimes it doesn't make sense. So yeah, so in 2011 I moved back to Goa, and I started my career with Axis Bank as a banker. And for 2011 to 2015 I was with Axis Bank, and then there again I got married in 2012.
Right.
I got married in 2012. My family started growing. I had a baby in 2013.
Right.
Yeah. So Axis Bank was not paying me that much. That I should,
be able to support
everybody, like
right.
all three of us. So then I thought, I spoke to my sister and said, she was in Kuwait. So anything holding up there, like how was it there? Mind you, I actually did not want to move to Middle East, but the thing is that she said you can come and try.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2015, I resigned from Axis Bank and
I went to
Kuwait.
Yeah.
That was I don't know, that was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Kuwait was really a nightmare. I went there. I started working in a restaurant as a cashier. The first job, no, it's not the work. I don't mind doing any work. I don't mind. I can adjust to any kind of work. I can adjust to anything. The thing is that I thought that I will go to Kuwait and start a career. Mind you, the salary was almost equal to what I was getting paid in Goa.
Mm-hmm.
Not much difference.
Right.
It was the same. It was almost the same. Maybe 2,000-3,000 rupees ahead of it what I was doing in Goa. But what struck me is that it was a 2 years contract. And I could not move out of that that company for 2 years,
right.
And that hit me.
Right.
The second thing that hit me is Kuwait is like more of a tied up. Like I don't know. It's more of you have to get scared. I used to get scared because I'm not in a habit of carrying my documents in my pocket.
Right.
Like you need to carry your civil ID wherever you go. You should get scared of the cops there.
Yeah.
It's like a sword hanging on my head.
Yeah.
Don't know when it will fall. If I leave my civil ID at home and I go out and the cops
and they ask you might be in jail the next day, right?
Till you get a document.
Yeah.
So I don't like that life where I'm tied up and kept. I do not like it. First the job, the salary part of it, and then it was my decision to go there. But
right.
I did not know that I got stuck there for 2 years. So I thought I need to move from this place. I can't.
Before it gets any worse.
Before it gets any worse. Yeah. And one good thing I had done is, before leaving Axis Bank, I had given 2 interviews to 2 different banks, and both the banks I got selected. I had kept those in as a back end. If Kuwait doesn't work, I come back and join this bank. So I need to come back in time to join those banks.
Right.
So I told my sister, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. So she said, you take a decision, it's your call. Then I had to, my passport was with the company, so I had to get it out. So I had to lie that my mother is not well, not keeping well, and she's on bed and I need to go. So that's how I actually
Got your documents back.
got my documents and ran away from that country.
Yeah.
Like, they might be still thinking something. I took my first month's salary and I just buzz up from here. I was just waiting for the 1 month salary which I worked for.
Yeah.
I took that salary same day. I escaped from that country. I mean, never in the country I'll be going. Like, I just like, I don't know how people survive there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying people don't survive. People do survive there. Maybe my brother-in-law is there for almost 25, 30 years. And my sister also is there, but it's like that country. I don't know how.
It's different.
It's different.
There are some parts of the world where it's different. The laws are very different, and the people are very different, right? And I think that's part of that challenge of where it is. But I mean, on the plus side, you got to come home.
Yes, I got to come home, but the question mark was come home. That 1 month, I had a job. I had already had a job, but after coming back, the question, did I take a right decision? Did I take a right decision? So that was bogging me quite a couple of times, But then I started work. I joined RBL Bank, okay, and mind you, it was like the same in how it was in Axis Bank. Not much difference. The salary was a little bit more, much more than I used to get in Kuwait. So
that kind of worked out financially.
So financially it was working out.
Yeah.
I still was in the same zone like how I was in Axis Bank. So I still wanted to change my bank. So one of my friends said, there's this bank called Citizen Credit Bank. It was a cooperative bank. It was a Bombay-based bank. People in Bombay who are looking at this, might know about this bank, Citizen Credit. So she said, they hire only Catholics. Why don't you try that? It's a Catholic-based bank. So what I did is just dropped in my CV to the branch manager in Goa, Margao. And I got a call. And guess what? They called me from looking at my legal background.
Okay.
And I was like, wow. First, I did not know that they called me. They called me for an interview, but did not tell me about my legal. They actually looked at my legal background and they called me.
Right.
That I realized for the interview.
Right.
And they called me. I said, no problem. So and so date, the interview was scheduled, and I went. Mind you, right now, that was my first interview I gave with around 25 people, and all board of directors. They had come for a function. It was their foundation day, the bank's foundation day, and they were celebrating it in Goa. I had interviews with 2-3 guys, but I never had an interview with 25 people, a full panel. I was like, for me, it just took me 3 to 5 seconds to settle down to digest that part.
Right.
Then, they just interviewed me on legal.
Yeah.
Questions are coming, this side. And I was so confident because, I had that legal knowledge. Though I did not,
use it.
I had that legal knowledge about the housing loans and all those. I had that knowledge, deep knowledge in it. And I answered each and every question, and they liked me. And it was really good. The interview was really good. They hired me.
Right.
Those who interviewed with me, like 2-3 other people, they had to even go to Bombay for the second interview. But me, I did not go to Bombay. I was directly given the offer in in 15 days.
Right.
They gave me the offer, and I had just joined Goa.
Right.
In September, I joined. That was my turning point.
Right.
That time, I was doing well. Like my salary doubled from what I used to earn in Axis Bank or it's like I had 100% growth, you can say, in my salary. So from 2015 to 2020, I worked with Citizen Credit Bank. I handled the legal department for Goa region. It was an amazing job. I was doing then I remembered my dad. If it was not him, I would have not been here.
Correct.
Yeah. So then 2015 to 2020, I worked there. Then, mind you, it was a cooperative bank. The growth was not that great.
Right.
The growth is slow in a cooperative bank. It's always slow. You grow, but very less. For me, if I wanted, I joined as a legal manager.
Right.
And for 5 years, I was only a legal manager.
Right.
If I wanted to become a senior manager, they asked me to interview for the senior manager, but I said I don't want to, because if the moment I took senior manager, they would have taken me to Bombay.
Right.
And I didn't want to leave Goa.
Yeah.
So I escaped. I said no, I don't want to interview for senior manager.
Right.
Because I knew the moment I had to take a senior manager position, they would have taken me to Bombay.
Right.
And operate from Bombay.
Right.
And I was hailing Goa legal region. So all Goa, because Goan laws are different.
Right.
Goa is bound by Portuguese law, so I had
Yeah.
a quite good knowledge on Portuguese law. So I had 5 branches under me.
Mm-hmm.
So all legal documents and all property documents, it was scrutinized under my eyes. So I had a good time, you know. I had to report directly to Bombay.
Right.
So it was a nice life.
Right.
9 to 5 job. Like Axis Bank and RBL Bank, you know, I started at 9
Yeah.
and there was no end.
Yeah.
There was no timing that
Yeah.
I would finish. I would finish at 8,
Yeah.
9. So
Yeah.
it was a hard time there.
So now you're completely settled. You're
Now I
now,
was completely settled,
and,
you know.
everything that you worked for, that education,
Education,
the
everything
hard work, the
everything
going
worked.
back to Pune, the coming back.
Yeah, and financial. My wife also was working,
Mm-hmm.
so that played a quite important role for us. You know,
We could manage.
we could
certain
manage
things and-
both. You know, if I do the financial part, like, you know, the saving part, like she would do the grocery part. So
Mhm.
it was going quite well. It was going quite well. So in 2019, I took my Portuguese nationality.
Mhm.
Like I had applied it before even joining Citizen Credit Bank.
Right.
It took almost 4 to 5 years to get. So I had to take the nationality. So the moment I took the nationality, I had to make a decision
Mhm.
to move out. I cannot stay
Legally.
legally
Right.
in India.
Right.
So the job, I had till date, the job. I don't think so. They've hired anybody in my place in the Citizen Credit Bank. I don't know whether they're planning to hire or no, but that
Maybe
was
they
the-
hire international consultants.
Uh,
Virtual international
I would
consultants.
love to. I would love to, but I don't know. Now my pay would be like double that. I don't think so.
You never
So-
know. You never know. Hey, if Citizen Credit's watching, he's still available. Virtual international consultant.
No, I don't think so. They would, but yeah, it was a beautiful journey.
Right.
Citizen Credit, the bank, as a bank, they transformed me. They gave me a platform where I could actually show my abilities,
Mhm.
and it was good. It was good. Actually, you can say it was a turning point of my life.
Right.
I did well, financially, and in 2019 when I took my Portuguese nationality, I had to decide, because for me as a Portuguese national, I had my taxation laws changed.
Yeah.
So all those things. So I had to quit.
Right.
So.
But now you have to leave everything behind, and then
Yeah,
you decided to move to a
And-
totally
and the-
different country
No,
at this
and
point.
the second part is that we have a daughter, Amber.
Yes.
She was 9 years, and in 2020 we conceived a second
Child.
child.
Right.
So that was another.
It's a very difficult decision.
It was very difficult, financially wise. It was like I was thinking, if I had to stay in India, like it would have been more difficult, because my wife, Cizelle, she had to quit her
Yeah.
job, and one job is very difficult to survive.
Yeah.
It is quite difficult. So I think I made a right decision, quitting Citizen and moving to UK.
Yeah.
So soon as my second daughter Zia was born, in a month I had to leave the country. So
Right.
she was just 1 month old when I
Right.
left
When
the
you
country.
left, right?
Yeah.
Which
So
is very difficult to leave, right?
It
Yeah,
was.
I can imagine.
It was very difficult, because this is the first time I've been away from my family for
Right.
such a long time,
Right.
and initially it was difficult. Then you need to set your mind.
Yeah.
You have to, for your family. You have to. You need to set your mind. So that's how I set my mind, and so it has been a 1.5 year I'm in UK.
Yeah.
So it's working well.
Yeah. Something different, right?
Something different. Yeah.
Culturally,
Culturally,
different,
financially, and even in my education, my work is totally different. I'm working to a logistic company right
different. Right. Right.
And
Completely different.
completely different
from
aspect
legal to
of life,
logistics,
from
yeah.
legal to logistics. Mind you, it's not that I don't want to do legal, but I need to study more the
And you
English
have to
law.
restart. Yeah.
Yeah,
English
so
law.
the English law, and right now thinking about study is like I don't have maybe later on when I get a little bit settled down in
Right.
the UK,
Right.
and then think about getting my family first here, moving them, then I might think of studying more,
Yeah.
getting properly settled, and as of now, it's so far by God's grace, it's working good for me.
Yeah.
Let's see what.
It's good. No, I mean, it's quite a journey, right? Because, I mean, as you said, to making all those decisions and making all those decisions where you felt like you were pulled back in some spaces, and then, you grow to this point where you're like completely settled, and then you have to leave. And then you have
Exactly.
to make that
But
decision. And it's a decision that I mean, as a dad, it's a very difficult decision.
It's a very difficult, but constantly I had my support of my wife, and you know, she said, you know, said, don't do it. If you feel it's right,
Go
get
for
it
it.
done. Go for it. And yeah,
And that's part of one of the things that we talk about, right? Patriarchy to partnership, because
Yeah.
we always talk about how that partnership is very important. That supportiveness on both
partnership
sides.
is very important.
Yeah, that the support on both sides is very important because if both are supportive of each other, then there's no limit to what you can achieve.
Sure, exactly.
That is the truth.
Now, even though, like, you know, I tell my wife, let's move, let's say, you know, I'm far away from the kids, far away from you. She said, see, moving to UK is not a problem.
Right.
But moving to UK, Zia is just 1.5.
Right.
I will have to stay at home.
Right.
And for you to maintain the
household,
the house, the
and
cost, the
yeah.
groceries. And I cannot leave Zia 1.5. You know the English laws. You cannot
Right.
leave a child home.
Right.
I cannot work. So it will be difficult on you.
Right.
So let Zia turn 3 and then we can decide
Right.
moving. So
Right.
constantly she's also thinking about it.
Right.
And no doubt she's missing me. So
Yeah.
it's both sides, a decision
Yeah.
of both sides.
Yeah. And it's a sacrifice on both sides too.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. It's a sacrifice.
Yeah, it is definitely. So that being said, I mean, you've obviously taken us on this wonderful journey with your dad, yourself. What then can I say? What type of dad do you aspire to be?
Uh, According to me, like, you know, I want to be a dad wherein my children respect me.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever decisions I make for them till they turn 18, like, I will, you know, give them whatever is necessary and whatever they, you know, mind you, whatever they want for is a big question mark.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever they need, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I would always want to provide them what I missed in my life.
Right.
My family is a middle class family.
Right.
I really don't get the best of life.
Right.
We actually earned for it.
Right.
We did. I can tell you, I'm the only child in the house who's got a proper education.
Mm-hmm.
Like my sister and brother, I doubt they have, I don't think so they have graduated.
Mm-hmm.
Like I am the only person who have been, like, you know, I got the
luxury,
the luxurious,
because financially,
financially,
my
dad was my mother and dad, you know. My dad said, you know, he used to say, my mother used to say, how will we cope up with Malcolm's fees?
Yeah.
I said, don't worry, God will give.
Yeah.
She still says she still says that, you know, your dad used to say, Deu Ditolo
Yeah.
in Konkan.
Yeah.
So that's how. And I kept it right, you know. I did not fail in any of the years. You know, every year I passed.
Right.
So I did not, you know,
Did
sometimes
not have to repeat
any
again,
years,
financially
financially
double the
cost.
right?
So
Right.
I worked on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so basically, no doubt, you know, we are making. I'm not saying we're making good money,
Right.
but we are making decent money. In that way, I want my children to, you know, to grow in that, you know, and learn from life, how life treats you, how life
Yeah.
brings you, things that, you know, unexpected things. Get ready for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Prepare
yourself. You know.
Yeah. Prepare for the worst.
Prepare for the worst.
And hope for the
Mind
best.
you, I will not push them, you know, what I want them to do,
Right.
but I will push them, you know, to see
What
what
they
they
are
are good at.
Yeah.
You know, because
Right.
now world is like competition. If
Yeah.
you're not good at one thing, you're not.
Right. Yeah.
People don't treat you
Right.
as a professional, as a legal professional. I know how things are,
Right.
how a professional is valued. In Goa,
Right.
I was valued a lot.
Right.
I learned it in the last 5 years.
Right.
Yeah, if you are just a graduate, no one takes care of you.
Right.
So I will want them to move to develop the skills that they are good for.
Right.
So I will just put a light, you know, to see what things they are good at, and, you know, push them in that aspect.
Right.
So they grow a little bit. Whenever they grow
Right.
up, they know what they are good at.
Right.
So that's how, basically, to respect us as their parents, me
Right.
and my wife, and to grow up in their own culture.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's quite nice. So then I'm gonna ask, and I ask all the brown dads this question, right? Because every brown dad I've interviewed, I've always asked this question. Do you have any words of wisdom for our viewers? Pearls of wisdom, I call that.
See, pearls of wisdom is like all depending on you. Like, be the dad which, you know, inspires your children. Like, you know, don't take me wrong. Don't do things that, you know, will draw back your children from, you know, treating your parents as they're not good at all. We are good. We as dad take certain decisions, certain sacrifices that, you know, your children might not see.
Right.
Yeah, they might not value those sacrifices, but you as a parent know what sacrifices you have done to your children. Don't tell them that you have sacrificed for them, because they will say, "Who asked you to sacrifice these things for me?" But uh, treat them equal. Be their friends. When you're friends to your child, they will open up more. They will tell you what's happening in their life. And mind you, I'm alone. I'm far away from my children now, but I've seen my daughter grow. Uh, the more you're with them, the more time you spend with them, they will be more friendly to you.
Right.
So basically, be around them. I'm trying to move my family as soon as possible because I want to see my children grow faster around me. Yeah. So be yourself. Don't overburden them. Treat them as equal, and let them grow in their own footsteps. Just give a push in what they like. Just push them a bit, and they will grow. Just don't pamper them. That's the only thing. If you pamper them, then it's spoiled.
Yes. No, I'm a strong proponent of that. Not the non-pampering, because I think the
Because
more self-sufficient you are,
yeah.
the more productive you're going to be in society as you grow up, and the more you're going to be able to manage any challenge that comes up. Because
True.
at the end of the day, I mean, you're literally by yourself. You might get help, you might not get help, but at least you have yourself.
Yeah, you need to show them the hard part of life.
Right.
If you give them whatever you want, they'll get a habit of whatever they will see the, small things, and they will want all those things, and they expect you to give it.
Yeah.
But whether it's right or wrong. They are not yet of that age to decide.
Correct.
Okay. The moment they turn 18, also still they make unreasonable decisions in their life. You need to be there to help them.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, help them. Let them decide on their own whether it's right for them. Help them the right path.
Correct.
Yeah. So the moment you give them whatever they think they want and whatever they are spoiling them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let them earn it.
Right. Yeah, that's very
Let
important.
them earn it.
That's very important. Yeah, and I think that's I think a very good thing. The let them earn it, because I mean that then gives you a sense of value, not only for the item that you've achieved or whatever it is that you've achieved, but for your own self, right?
Yeah.
Because you then have this sense of accomplishment for yourself, and the knowledge to say, I can accomplish. This is just something that I can do that, and I can do that.
If they believe that they can get it from somebody else without earning it, then they will be used for that easy life.
Correct.
We have earned, like as parents, I have earned, my wife have earned their own positions, whatever where they were. Yeah. Maybe we are not that great in it, but whatever little it is, we have earned it. Same thing should go.
I know, as I said, personally, I know firsthand, because I started working at the age of 14. Wow, so I know exactly what earning and everything, like where it is. So it's definitely a thing. But Malcolm, I want to say thank you so much for doing this interview. It's been a long time coming. I'm so glad you're able to do it over here in Canada.
And your first live interview.
Yeah, first live interview, yes. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, Rainer, for giving me an opportunity. This is my first interview. I've never done it before. I was like a bit skeptical of doing it, but yeah, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And thank you for giving me an opportunity.
No, thank you. And thank you to our viewers for tuning in to this episode of The Brown Dad Chronicles. We wish you all the very best, and we will see you next time.
Thanks. Cheers, man.